I'm Brandy. Standing here in the middle of my $3.5 million beachfront mansion, the silence is almost palpable. The only sound is the gentle hum of the air conditioning and the distant crash of the waves against the shore. It's a far cry from the grand housewarming party I had planned. Just a few minutes ago, I was looking at the live feed from the security camera. My father's old SUV was idling at the bottom of the long driveway. The back was so loaded with boxes that the rear tires were sagging. It was 6:42 p.m. And they were early, clearly desperate. I remembered the text message I'd received earlier. It was from my father, Victor. That east wing. Is it fully furnished? I might need a place to crash for a few weeks. Business is complicated. Send me the gate code. I'll stop by tonight to check it out. The sheer audacity of his words still made my blood boil. As I watched them through the camera, I thought back to how I'd gotten to this point. It all started on the night of my housewarming party. It was 11:51 p.m. And the party was a disaster. The servers were packing up the untouched trays of gourmet food and pouring the expensive champagne down the drain. The band had left hours ago. I checked my phone and saw a message from my mother, Diana. "We're exhausted, honey. Jake's new gaming chair was a nightmare to assemble. Rain check." I stared at the screen in disbelief. They'd missed my party because of my 20-year-old brother, Jake. They'd chosen his trivial problem over celebrating my success. I'd designed this mansion with them in mind. The guest rooms were sound-proofed for my father's sensitive ears, and the kitchen was stocked with my mother's favorite herbal tea. I'd built this place to impress them, to finally earn their love and respect. But as I walked through the empty halls of the East Wing, I realized I'd been a fool. I pulled up Instagram and saw a photo of my parents and Jake. They were sitting in a shabby but cozy apartment, surrounded by pizza boxes. Jake was in the middle, laughing, and my father had his arm around him, beaming. The caption read, "New start for our boy. First night in the new place. Top priority." The contrast between their world and mine was overwhelming. Here I was, in this cold, empty mansion, surrounded by luxury, while they were in that small apartment, full of warmth and love. It wasn't that they hated my success, they were intimidated by it. Jake's incompetence made them feel needed, while my independence made them feel left out. I decided it was time to dig deeper. I opened my laptop and accessed the family cloud account. My father, Victor, always claimed to be bad with technology, but I knew he was just arrogant. He thought I'd never look at the financial records. I found a folder labeled Jake's Education. Inside was a PDF invoice for a luxury student apartment. The total cost, including furniture and high-end electronics, was $50,000. It made me think back to when I was 23, struggling to code the beta version of my first app. I'd asked my father for a $6,000 loan to cover server costs. He'd told me, "Brandy, we don't have the money. You need to learn to be self-reliant." 2 years ago, when I needed a car, my father co-signed the loan. He loved to tell everyone at family gatherings how he'd helped me get on the road. But the truth was, when his own business started to fail, he'd called me in a panic. I'd wired him $15,000 to pay off his debts and then paid off my car loan early to get his name off the title. He'd never thanked me. Looking at these numbers, I finally understood the family dynamic. I wasn't their daughter, I was a resource. Jake was their investment, the one they poured all their hopes and dreams into. My success only made them feel inadequate. I decided to take action. I posted a high-definition video tour of the mansion's East Wing on social media. It went viral in just a few hours. Strangers commented on the dream life, and former classmates sent me envious messages. Then, I got the text from my father. That's when I knew I had to find out what was really going on. I called my best friend, Lily. She was a real estate expert in the area, knowing all the ins and outs of property transactions. I asked her to run a title search on my parents' house. She agreed and promised to get back to me in 10 minutes. While waiting, I checked the public court records. There were a few minor issues with my father's business license, but nothing that explained his sudden need for a place to stay. 7 minutes later, Lily called back. Her voice was serious. "Brandy, are you sitting down? Your father took out a $300,000 secondary loan on a house 18 months ago. It's a high-interest private loan. And there's a notice of trustee sale filed 3 days ago. The auction is next Tuesday. He's going to be evicted." I realized then that their missed party, the exhaustion, and the complicated business were all just excuses. They were in desperate straits and saw my success as a life raft. Now, as I watched them at the gate, I knew I couldn't let them in. I picked up my iPad and opened the smart home control panel. System? Override. The intercom buzzed, and I muted my microphone to listen to their conversation. My mother's anxious voice came through. "Victor, what if she's not home?" My father snapped, "Her car is there. She's home. She's probably just working. Just keep buzzing. She'll let us in. She always does." I unmuted my microphone. "State your business." My voice filled their SUV. My father jumped and leaned out the window, putting on a fake smile. "Brandy, honey, you scared us." The gates closed. "We were in the neighborhood and thought we'd surprise you. We brought wine." I replied, "You're not in the neighborhood, Dad. You live 50 miles away. And you didn't bring wine. You brought boxes." His smile faded. He tried to make up excuses, but I cut him off. "I know about the shadow mortgage. I know about the $300,000 you borrowed for Jake. And I know you're going to be evicted by midnight." My mother started to cry, and my father's face turned red with anger. "You have no right. I'm your father. I raised you. Open this gate." I calmly replied, "I paid off my car years ago, and I paid your mortgage for 3 months. I have the receipts. I owe you nothing." He threatened to sue me and tell everyone I was heartless, but I was unmoved. I tapped the revoke access button on my iPad. A red banner flashed, "Access denied. Permanent ban active. Biometric data wiped." Then, I uploaded the foreclosure notice and Jake's $50,000 apartment invoice to the family group chat with the caption, "You didn't come to warm my house. You came to use me. Figure it out." I watched as my father's phone lit up, and I saw the moment his knees buckled. He screamed and shook the gate, but I cut off the audio. Inside the mansion, there was perfect, protective silence. 2 days later, the family home was sold at foreclosure. Jake couldn't afford to stay in his luxury apartment, and I heard he moved into a shared studio. As I stand on the balcony of the East Wing, watching the sunset over the ocean, I feel a sense of peace. I've finally realized that family isn't about blood, it's about respect. I've built a moat around myself, and I'm no longer the architect of my own loneliness. If you've ever had to build a fortress to protect your peace, share this story. You are not alone.